Hello guys, so today we will talk about event driven architecture. Okay, in the last video we talked about microservices architecture and monolith architectures. So in microservices architecture you must have seen multiple services was talking to each other, right? Suppose service A, B, C. Your application's capabilities was separated into three different services, services A, services B and services C. So your services A was talking to services B and services B was talking to services C. So likewise services A also sometimes talking to services B and services C, like this. Okay, any services can communicate to each other, right? So now how they can communicate? Okay, there are two types of communications can be done. One is synchronous communications, okay, and another is asynchronous communications. So what do we mean by synchronous and what do we mean by asynchronous communications? So first of all, what synchronous means and what asynchronous means, these two things we have to understand first in very high level. Okay, suppose there is a client. Client means, suppose just to think about web browser. Okay, there is a client web browser and there is an application deployed into server. Okay, and this application's name is app1. Just think about it. Okay, and suppose you are submitting a details, okay, you are creating a profile in Facebook, okay, you are creating a profile in Facebook, you have submitted your details and a save operations request is went to the server, okay. Just think about it, save records, okay. So you are creating one Facebook profiles and you have given the details to create a Facebook profile and the details you have submitted to a server, okay. Now this app 1, that is Facebook, will handle your request, right. So suppose synchronous, in synchronous what will happen, the server will process the request and it will store your details into the DB and one success response will come to your client. Till then your request will wait for your response, okay. Till then what will happen, your screen will not get refreshed, right, your screen will hold, it will wait for a response, because what your screen will show, right, after you submit the request, it will only show when the response will come, otherwise it cannot show anything, right. So in synchronous, a request will be completed whenever it will get a response back and the response will be generated after completing all the tasks related to this particular request, right. So what I mean to say is, just think about it, think about another example, I am giving another example, okay. So you are transferring money, suppose you are transferring from A account to B account, a amount you are transferring, right. So you must have seen sometimes, sometimes you are transferring money and bank says, okay, we need 3 hours to, maximum 3 hours to make your transaction success, right. This is one case. Another case is you are transferring money through UPI and instantly a response come as success, right. So your request of transferring money is only getting success when that money is getting credited to the B account, right. This is a synchronous request, you can say. That means your request completion is happening when all the tasks related to that request is getting finished, then a response is generating, the response is coming to your client and it is showing it, okay. So this is the synchronous part, right. What is the asynchronous part? Asynchronous part means, okay, suppose you are creating a Facebook profile, same I will take an example, you are creating a Facebook profile, okay, you have given a details and this particular request, okay, is taken by Facebook, right, is taken by Facebook, but Facebook is telling your request has been taken to create a profile, please check after 30 minutes, like that if they say, okay. That means Facebook did not create the profile, right. Facebook has taken a request, but it generated a response already that we have taken your request successfully, right. Your request will be processed within 30 minutes. Suppose if this message comes, that means your all the task related to the request has not been processed while generating the response, right. The task has been taken. Suppose task 1 is generating your Facebook profile, right, but this task is not completed, right. Facebook is confirming you this task has been taken by us. The Facebook profile is not created yet. So another request, okay, another guy Sumit came and he has also done the same thing. So task 2 for Facebook server, task 2 is also taken, right. So next task, another guy came, right, and they again created a Facebook profile, task 3 has been taken. So just think of it, there is a box where Facebook is keep on adding the task, okay, one by one, right, and there is a process or cron job or anything, right, it is continuously running and it is taking a task one by one and creating Facebook profile. Task 1 is completed, it is deleting from this particular box. Then again task 2 is completed, it is deleting from particular box. Then again task 3 is done, deleting from particular box, right. So what will happen this way? This way, this particular guy Sumit will not wait for the response, because maybe this process is already busy completing the task 1, is task 2 already in queue, he will take to next time he will take to the task 2. But what will happen? Sumit is still waiting for completion of task 2. Just think about it, Osit, what will done? He will again wait for task 3 completion. So synchronous communications or synchronous call, is always time taking, right. It will hold one particular job and it will make you wait, right, until it exactly finish. So this is what exactly synchronous and asynchronous, difference between synchronous and asynchronous. I hope it is clear to you. If it is still not clear, you can comment it down. I will prepare another video related to synchronous and asynchronous in a more detailed manner. This is just for an example basis I have shown you, just correlate it, okay. So now when it comes to event driven architecture, what it means I have already told you, right. So just think of it, Facebook profile creation, right. So suppose there is a service, that service creates only profile. So I will name it as Facebook. Inside Facebook there is a profile creation service, okay. So profile creation service, right, and multiple people. So just think about it, in a particular second or minute, maybe 10,000 people, new people are coming and creating one profile in Facebook, right. So what Facebook can do, right. So Facebook can take all the requests, right, and it can store in a queue. Just think about it, it can store in a queue. So what queue means? Queue means what? First in, first out, right. Queue means first in, first out. So suppose the request 1 R1, R2, R3 and another request goes as R4, right. So the request 1 Facebook has first taken and kept into the queue R1, and next kept into the R2, next R3, next R4, next R5, right. So profile creation service is already taken the request and placed into the queue, right, and this request has all the details related to the profile creation, right. So now this services work is done, right, this services work is done. So suppose another service is there who is actually responsible to create the profile, right. Maybe you can say, okay, profile request creation service I will say, okay, and this is actually profile confirmation service, okay. Just I know I am naming little differently, just to make you understand this is a different service, different applications running, okay. What it will do, it will take one by one request from this particular queue. So, suppose from R1, first it took R1 and in process it, right. Then what will do? R1 will popped out, then R2 will go, R2 will popped out, then R3 will go, R3 completed, R3 will be popped out, then R4 will go, R4 will popped out, then R5 will go, R5 will popped out. This is nothing but a queue data structure, right. So, what is happening here? What you see? So, this is not a event driven, just I am making you understand. So, this is how you can make this whole process asynchronous using a help of queue, right. Now, I will come to event driven. So, what is happening in a event driven architecture? This is very similar, that is why I am spending more time in this queue, right, to make you understand what exactly you can do with the queue. Okay. So, now let us come to the Flipkart. Okay. So, suppose there is a order service, right. So, what it does, right, what it does, it only creates the order ID, okay, and after order service, a payment service will get called to take the payment for the corresponding order, okay, and after the payment is done, one email notifications should go or to the corresponding seller. Just I am assuming, okay, there is a email service, right. Okay. So, now how these three services can communicate between each other? So, this order service will definitely have a endpoint, think about it, endpoint, service endpoint, because this is a API, right. This is API exposed into the HTTP protocol, right, HTTPS protocol. So, it has a endpoint. Payment service also is having a endpoint, and email service is having a endpoint. So, how this communication can build? Order service, after the order happens, it can directly call the endpoint and it can start the payment. After payment is done, payment service can directly call the endpoint to call the email service. So, this way no event is coming, right, we are directly using the endpoint to call. But in this case, what will happen? Just think about it. What can happen? Order service will wait when it calls the endpoint, when it calls a service, a request, it is a request, right, when a call, it will wait for a response to show in the order, right. So, it is again going little synchronous way. So, here also it is sending a request and it is asking a response to come. So, it is also going ahead with more synchronous manner, right, but we have to make with event driven asynchronous. So, what we will do? We will not use direct endpoint to call each other, to make use of each other. So, what will happen? After taking the order, there is a, in between there will be the queue, right, in between there will be a queue. Just think about it, in between there will be a queue. In payment, after payment service, there will be a queue, okay. You can use Kafka also, but I am just showing you using a queue. So, what will happen? After order has been taken, you have taken an order, okay, order has been taken, okay. So, you can, what it will do, an order service will generate a message, generate a event. So, what the event will happen? Maybe the event will generate and add in this queue, okay. So, this event may be order generated for order ID 1. So, you may ask what details, how the payment will get the details. See, payment ID is not at all dependent in order ID, okay. So, this will be not interdependent first of all, okay. Payment service will get all the details from this message. This message should contain everything whatever required to process a payment for a particular order, okay. So, when the order service will generate an event, it will generate all this related message also to payment service. Okay. Now payment service will consume this message, payment service will consume this event and it will process a payment. After the payment is done, again payment service will generate another event, suppose E1, another event in this particular queue. Okay. And email service will be consumer of this particular event. So just think about it, order service will generate an event and it will place in the first queue, right, and this event will be taken or consumed by the payment service. Again payment service will also generate another event and email service will consume it. Okay. So in this event driven architecture, one will be the event producer. Okay. One service will be the event producer. So here event producer is the order service, here payment service is the event consumer. Again for this service event producer is the payment service and event consumer is the email service, right. So another will be the event consumer, right. Another will be the event broker, right. So here who is the event broker is this queue in the messaging queue, right. So this messaging queue is acting as a event broker. So in this architecture what can happen is, right, so in this architecture your multiple microservice can talk to each other, right, can talk to each other and fulfill each other process by generating messages and persisting the messages in the queue. The messages is like nothing but an event for this. So in this way the event will generate and corresponding processes for that particular event will be processed by the subsequent consumer service. Okay. So this is the complete knowledge what a event driven architecture is. So what you must have understood now, right. So event driven architecture means asynchronous processing, right. So now you must have understood what is asynchronous processing, what is synchronous processing, what is the asynchronous design, synchronous design, everything you must have understood till now by end of this video. If you still have any questions, feel free to drop a message to me in the comment section, or you can send me a message in the Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you want. I will happy to answer you. Thank you so much.